I mean, that podcast, it really saved my life.
Thanks for listening to Guidance in Recovery. I'm Keegan Read, and every week I speak with guests to honestly explore recovery, sobriety, the struggles that come with it, and find things that help us in our recovery journeys. Today we are joined by a man who defines the word unstoppable. Nick Yerhart is a certified 10X business coach, an entrepreneur, and the host of the Infinite Abilities podcast. Born with cerebral palsy, Nick was given a list of things he'd never be able to do, and he has spent his life crossing each one of those off of that list. Nick is a fierce advocate for the special needs community and a voice for anyone who has been told their potential has a ceiling. You've got such a strong story, but the first question I've really got to ask is, what myth is it that you'd like to help bust today?
I mean, today, like, just the myth of you can't do something. You know, I just think that if anybody tells you that, it's just a myth. It's not a fact.
Ooh, okay. So just because someone says no or you can't, that's a myth. It's not fact. It's not truth. And I guess you kind of see that more of a challenge of like, watch me, right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Nice. I also saw on Facebook not too long ago that you were actually plowing streets to help people out of the snow. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. What was that? Last Sunday, we got a big winter storm. I think we ended up with 18 inches in like 2 days. So it was a lot. And, you know, all the plow companies were all backed up. I actually know a lot of them. I know the owners. So me and my friend went out and we just started helping. So, yeah.
Man, that sounds really cool. And I mean, it's one of those things that had you not challenged all of those times people told you couldn't, you wouldn't have been able to help people like you did, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, I hopped in the plow truck that I own, and, you know, if I would have just listened to the doctors, I would have never drove anything in my life. And I've operated more equipment than most people.
What's your favorite piece of equipment that you've operated so far?
I would say the most useful would be a skid loader. I mean, you can do a lot with those. My favorite is a four-wheeler, which I actually used to race when I was around 11 years old.
Oh, wow. You used to race four-wheelers.
Yep.
I've only been on one myself, and I almost flipped it going really fast.
I flipped them a lot, but you just gotta get back up and keep going.
Yeah, that's for sure. And skid loaders are one of those things too. They got two little joysticks on the side, and they can do a whole lot. And a lot of people don't realize that they can be kind of complicated whenever you first get behind the, well, not really a wheel, but you know.
Yep.
So it's interesting that you found that was your most favorite one. But I mean, could you just give us a little bit of your backstory so that we understand Nick a little bit better?
Of course. So I'm going to start at the beginning. I was actually born dead. Like, no heartbeat, wasn't breathing, nothing.
Wow.
And, you know, thankfully, and obviously, they revived me. But about a year later, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. And that's due to, you know, lack of oxygen at birth. So I have a little brain damage, but all it affects is like my motor skills. So like my muscles and how I move and things like that. So for the first, you know, couple of years after I was diagnosed, the doctor were telling my parents they said that I might not talk, and they actually said that I would never walk. And I started walking, you know, or I started talking, you know, shortly thereafter. You know, it was a little later than like usual, but I just started talking, and then I started walking at age 5, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Then, I mean, you were born dead. That's, I mean, you should get like an achievement trophy because of that.
I know, right? Like, how many people can say that?
Yeah, not a lot. And I mean, you're not just a statistic, but you're helping break statistics.
Yeah, exactly. So going forward, my life, it was difficult. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, living with cerebral palsy, like my hands, they don't work the best. I walk different. I walk slower. Um, so in school, it was always a challenge. 'Cause I wasn't very good at writing, things like that. So I went through schooling with an aide that was by my side all day, and she would help me with things. Um, but it's like even in school, like so many of the teachers or the principal would tell me you can't, attend this or do this because you're disabled.
Mm.
And every every time I followed them, or my parents would, and we would find a way for me to be included in everything.
Ooh.
And I just feel like there's a lot of parents that don't fight for their children like mine did,
Mm.
and I would like to change that.
Yeah. Okay. That's super cool that your parents even did that. And
Mhm.
I mean, your aide in school sounds like they were a real superhero of sorts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh, did your aide ever sit there and try to perpetuate that same myth that you can't do this, or did they sit there and help, like, hold you up and kind of embolden you to try?
So I went through a few different aides.
Okay.
It really didn't matter until I got into like middle school.
Mm.
Because when you're younger, but I was also lucky. I had a really good one through elementary school. But then middle school, I had to get a new one. I went to a different school. And I will say the first one, not good. We ended up getting a new one about 6 months in, I think it was.
Okay.
And I had that one until 12th grade.
Oh, wow.
She retired. So I was very
Oh.
lucky. And you become like family. Like she was
Uh-huh.
like my second mom, and she was just
Mm.
awesome. But she was like my dad. I will say like my dad, where I couldn't use my disability as an excuse to get out of anything. She would
Ooh.
push me to do things on my own, and she
Huh.
wouldn't just do things for me. And I'm so thankful for her being like that.
Yeah. Dude, that is way too cool. And
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine that that would have been a huge help and beyond help. I mean, a lifesaver of sorts,
Yeah.
because if that person that's supposed to help you through school was perpetuating the you can't do this or blah,
Hmm.
blah, blah, or like you said, using it as an excuse of sorts, you wouldn't have actually realized that you have exponential potential.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that you've been able to do this kind of thing. And like, did you have that drive in school to help other people like get to where you're at now, or was that something that happened after you graduated?
That didn't really happen until like 5 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm 34 now, so
Okay.
yeah, I like I was helpful. I had a lot of friends, and I helped in your typical ways, but I wasn't like the mindset guy. I wasn't the guy that helped you believe in yourself or anything like that. I was just your friend. But I will say, like all through my life, I've always been the friend that everybody goes to for advice.
Hmm.
So looking back now, it's like, huh, I was a coach long before I became a coach. You know?
Oh, you were a coach long before, and I mean, that's really cool. That's inspiring, even. And looking back at it, did you kind of feel odd that people were coming to you of all people? Like you had this outside like thing that makes other people think that you can't. And so I guess your friends just realized that you have a special spark inside of you and they wanted to tap into that themselves, right?
Yeah, I think it's because they just looked at me and looked at what I've accomplished
Mm-hmm.
and the hard times that I've gone through, and they just knew it was like a safe space to talk about anything and ask for advice and
Uh-huh.
get that kick in the ass to go do something.
Oh, a little kick in the ass. I mean, I think we all kind of need that sometimes,
Yep.
whether it's out of love or just a little bit of tough love, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
Would you consider, well, do you think that your friends saw you as brave? Because you just doing you, it's probably like, well, I'm just doing me. And so, like, did you have trouble shaping an identity growing up?
Yeah, I did because I was never okay with having cerebral palsy. I
Mm,
never liked it. I always tried to hide it. And I
mm,
don't know why, because you can't hide this, but I tried. And I guess for me, like, just who I thought I wasn't how other people saw me. And, I had a lot of friends, and it's just, like, looking back, it's like, why did they choose me?
mm,
And I think now I'm kind of seeing why, because I was somebody that everybody could count on. I was the good guy. I was the one that would push you to be better. You know.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's amazing that you can see part of that in yourself now that others saw in you a long time ago,
Hmm.
And in recovery rooms, there's that saying that self can't reveal self to self. Because, I mean, if I knew that I had some potential, I didn't know about it until other people kind of brought it to my attention,
Hmm.
you know? And so you help people kind of tap into their innate abilities as well. That's awesome. Uh,
Thank you.
yeah. I gotta ask though, just because you said you try to hide it, like, what was one of the silliest moments that you can think of, or a silly excuse that you came up with to try to hide it?
Like, I wouldn't say like excuse related. It's more like when I was out in public, I would
Mm-hmm.
try to walk better. I
Mm.
think it actually made me walk worse. And then like if we were out to eat at restaurants,
Uh-huh.
a lot of times when I eat like pizza, like
Mm-hmm.
I just eat it off the plate like a dog. There's a lot of
Oh.
foods that I eat like a dog because my hands can't pick it up.
Uh-huh.
And I was just not ordered certain foods. I'd order foods that I could use a spoon or a fork easily enough where I could, eat without being embarrassed. Because that's what it was. I
Mm.
was embarrassed to eat a different way.
Mm.
And once I learned to just not care about what other people think,
Uh-huh.
like that's like everybody listening, stop caring about what other people think because it slows you down. It just hurts you in the long run. Like, just don't
Mm-hmm.
care. And just live your life the way you want. Because now I go out to eat, I'll eat like a dog, I don't care.
Uh-huh.
Because it's easier for me to do it that way, and
Mm-hmm.
that's all that matters.
Mm. Oh man. Thank you for helping spread that message of don't care what other people think, because I know I suffered from that and still kind of do from time to time, but I also growing up I had the idea that I didn't care what people thought, and so it was this weird tough shell, but on the
Hmm.
inside it was still like I want acceptance and stuff, and I didn't realize that the acceptance I was really wanting was from myself.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And it's super hard to still break through that sometimes. So,
Yep.
I mean, thank you for helping other people do that for themselves, because I think that's how we'll make the world a better place.
Hmm. Yeah. And, you might not fully break through that. I know I haven't, just like you. But
Mm,
just work on it. Just stop caring about the little stuff. It doesn't matter. And like for me, one of the big things is like people would stare at me doing something different,
mm,
and what I thought that they were thinking, I bet you was 10 times worse than what they were actually thinking. And I know
mm.
that we all do that. We think way worse of ourselves than anybody else does.
Yeah. We're our own worst critic.
Yep.
And, I mean, we shame ourselves in a lot of different ways because shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Hmm.
And, I mean, whenever things are outside of our control, we do have to really just learn to let it go,
Hmm.
you know? So, what was one of the things that helped you kind of let go of your whole situation to not really care what other people thought?
I mean, that was like 5 years ago. I would say it started 6 years ago, but
Okay.
well, let's rewind just a little bit more.
Okay.
So, in 2019, I lost my dad to brain cancer. He had
Mm,
brain cancer for like 5 or 6 years,
mm,
and in 2019 he lost his foot.
mm,
And hardest time of my life. We also sold our business that we had as a family during
mm.
all of that. So my whole life got flipped upside down,
Yeah.
and I didn't grieve because shortly, like right before he passed away, we sold the company. Well, it was a garbage company. That's why I have my old truck right behind me. Um, so there was a lot to take care of in the sale, and I was the only one strong enough to see it through. You
Oh
know,
wow.
my mom, she was a mess. My sister was a mess. So, and I was also my dad's, right hand man at the company. So it was like my job to take care of this. And so yeah, I had to go through and sell the equipment, help the new owner of the company get all their stuff, and this took months. So I didn't get to grieve, and I didn't really hit my first like grieving session until like a year later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's kind of where my journey starts as far as self development
Mm,
because at that time I was so depressed. I had suicidal thoughts everywhere.
mm. Oh.
And one morning, I don't know if it was God, my dad, I don't know. I heard a voice that said, "You need to change or you're not going to be here much longer."
Oh wow.
And it's weird because, like, I was already having suicidal thoughts, but
Mm.
the whole "you're not going to be here much longer" it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So I started looking into self development, and I found a podcast called The Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial.
Okay.
And obviously all about mindset, improving yourself, all of that. I started listening to that podcast as much as I could every single day, and slowly I just started to feel better and started to look at my life differently.
Mm.
And you know everything happened after that.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Real quick, I gotta say, deepest condolences for your father. That
Thank you.
really sucks. And I mean, there's something about grief, that I've come to learn, and it's that we're never really done grieving,
Yeah.
even though we kind of think we are,
Hmm.
and we just kind of learn how to grow around that hole that's created. So I hope
Yeah.
your healing journey's been well and successful so far. I know
Thank
that your
you.
dad would be super proud of you, though.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. And as for he's still helping me all the time. It's
Yeah.
it's so strange. Like I'll just get these little like tips or nudges to do something. It's like where'd that come from? It's like it's gotta be my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. It's a beautiful reminder that our loved ones are always with us,
Hmm.
even after what we assume or presume is the end. But
Yeah.
in my belief, we don't really die. It's just we kind of transform into a different state of being,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know?
I agree. Hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, what do you think it meant, whatever that voice said? What do you think it was trying to get at is you won't be here much longer? Like, did you see yourself kind of withering away or something?
Yeah. I wasn't myself. Like I was
Mm,
just empty. Like
yeah.
nothing was really that fun anymore. You
Mm,
know, I didn't enjoy hanging out with friends anymore. I drank a lot, so it's like, and it's just you go down that road and you get in like a loop, and you just can't get out of that loop.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I mean, that podcast, it really saved my life. And it's cool because I got to talk to Rob, who has a podcast, and I got to tell him that, which is really cool, you know.
Wow.
And that was, 2 or 3 years after I started listening to him.
Oh, wow.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you meet him at like a podcast convention or something?
So I actually bought one of his courses, and he was my coach. And yeah, there was one of the coaching sessions, I got to talk to him, and yeah, it was really cool.
Dude, that's really cool. So you kind of got to meet a hero of sorts, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly how I look at him. And still, to this day, I listen to his podcast. Because I'm always improving. I'm always going through hard times, Hard times don't end for anybody. I don't care who you are. You're still going to have hard times. So you still got to work on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you bring up a really good point. Hard times don't really end. They just kind of shift and change, and our perspective shifts and changes with them. And sometimes it's like, oh, holy hell, what is happening now? And other times it's like, oh, that's nothing. I can handle that now.
Yep.
So what was one of the things that you went through that kind of you thought for yourself, I don't know if I can actually do this, but you surprised yourself?
I would say that would be becoming a certified 10X business coach.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
I didn't really do it to become a business coach. I did it just to learn more about business.
Okay.
And I will say, I don't coach much anymore because it didn't, excite me, I'd rather help people with social media and podcasting, and then give them coaching on the side. That's kind of how I do it now.
Okay.
But I didn't think I could do it because I was like, well, who am I to be a business coach? Especially when you get started, everybody has that imposter syndrome, and you're like, well, how can I help somebody else get to $1 million when I haven't done it myself? Things like that.
Yeah.
But everybody starts somewhere. And one thing that helped me a lot years ago is Mel Robbins said on her podcast, you're not an imposter, you're just a beginner. You're learning. And that kind of changed my whole outlook on that.
Oh, yeah. That is a really good way to look at that. And I mean, I'm right there with you. Imposter syndrome is weird, because it's like, who am I to say this? Who am I to think like this? And I found that for myself, it was very much that imposter syndrome was actually just the parts of me I had discarded a long time ago because I thought I wasn't good enough to embrace them, and it's hard to embrace them still because it's like I spent all this time growing up thinking I didn't need them and that they were worthless because it bothered other people. And so, I mean, you coming to be a business coach and then, a 10X business coach, and then going on to do podcasting and coaching people on the side is just amazing. And I think that people can learn a whole lot from you. And how many clients do you usually see?
So right now we have 26 businesses that we help. Yep.
Whoa, that's really cool.
So, yeah. Oh yeah.
26. Are any of them other garbage companies, or did you start coaching the one that you had to sell off?
No, none of them. And I know it's fun because everybody always like, Nick, you need to go help the garbage industry because you know it's the best. And it's like, man, I retired from the garbage industry. I'm not ready to go back and do that. But I do know I could really help them. But it's just, I don't know. I guess it's hard because of my dad. That was his thing. We had the company together, and it's like I was finally able to leave my job because I worked at two more garbage companies after we sold ours.
Oh, wow.
After he passed away, and it's like I'm finally out, and it's like when every day we went to work, it was like a big reminder that my dad's gone,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it got hard,
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I can imagine that was actually maybe not even bittersweet, just something that was more of a painful, like, blister on the foot. Just like, oh yeah, that's still there. Damn.
Yep,
And
exactly.
yeah, so I really do hope that the grief healing and stuff proceeds even like 10 times after this, because you've done so much to help yourself and those around you that I know that it's going to come back to you like 100-fold. And you're just going to be surprised of where you're going to go, because you've already surprised everyone else in your life of where you've already been, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. And I've surprised myself a lot, and I think that's really what matters the most. Is I like how far I came. I like the life that I built. I will say it's hard because like when we had the company, let's just face it, like I made quite a bit of money, because like, let's face it, I'm the owner's son. I get a lot of perks, get paid, good. So I built a life around that income, and I have an acreage, my own home, all of that. I had nice cars, and the struggle was keeping that same level of income all these years, So, but now that I have my own business, it's not easier to keep that income, but it's more on my terms. That's why I wanted to do it, because I didn't want to rely on somebody else for my income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. I was about to say, if it's your own business and stuff, it makes it to where it's more fulfilling in a sense.
Exactly.
And you can't really put a price on that.
No, you can't.
Here's a quick like throwback question to the doctor that said that you'd never be able to walk and stuff. Like, have you talked to him ever since? Not talked to them ever since, and like kind of shown them where you've gone so that they can maybe reevaluate how they treat other people that have this?
I know, like, I used to see him when I was younger, and he was just ecstatic at how far I came. So I think he did change his like outlook on what he says. I mean, I hope so. And yeah, it's just doctors can only do what they're taught.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is.
Yeah. And so what's one of the things you like to tell people to help them realize that their mindset is what's holding them back?
I mean, like, the main thing is, like, how many negative thoughts a day do you have? And people, like, they do that exactly. Every time I say that. And it's like, tomorrow, just make a note in your phone every time you have a negative thought. And you can be like, holy crap. Like, at the end of the day, look at it, and you can be like, crap. So then, the next day, you're going to do the same thing. But this time, every time you have a negative thought, you're going to write down a positive from that thought. So kind of flip it around.
Okay.
And the more you do this, I did this for months. I still do it here and there. The more you do that, your brain will automatically change the negative thoughts into something positive. And it's kind of like woo-woo-y, but it works. And the more you do that, the more opportunities you see in life, because you're only going to see what your mind allows you to see. And when you start looking for positive things out there, you're going to find them.
Okay, I love that. it kind of reminds me of like someone that just got a brand new sports car or something. They're like, oh, I've never seen one of these on the road. And the next thing you know, they're seeing like 10 Teslas and they're like, oh man, I thought my Tesla was special.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had that. I'm a car guy. I think I'm up to 23 cars that I've owned.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, but every time I get a new car, that happens. I'm always like, I knew it was gonna happen, but you're so irritated, you know?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that was just one of those examples that I had in my head. So thank you for making sure that that's a real life scenario.
Oh, it definitely is. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yep.
Oh man. Which car has been your favorite though?
So my favorite is actually the car that my dad gave me for graduation.
Oh.
And that's a 1996 Eagle Talon, which is the same thing as a Mitsubishi Eclipse. They're literally the same car, just different names.
Okay.
But it looks like it was in the first Fast and Furious movie. That's really what it looks like. It's got the bike kit, it's lowered wheels, decal down the side, and it's orange, about like that guy.
Oh, nice.
So it's orange.
Sweet.
Yep.
Who is that guy? Is he the school mascot?
I call him Frank. I seen him in a store one day. I thought he looked cool, so I bought him. And yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Frank kind of reminds me of some of the stuffed animals, or they're not really animals because they don't look like normal stuffed animals, but I had some really odd looking ones whenever I was growing up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's where I kind of got the idea that normal is like boring. Mm-hmm. So, how do you like to kind of stand out from the crowd? I mean, you don't really have to wear all this bling and stuff to do it, right? It's kind of your personality. Your personality sets you out.
Well, I just gotta walk and I stand out.
I mean, fair. Thank you for listening to part 1 of that episode with Nick Yerhart, and be sure to stick around for part 2 as we dive a little bit further into what we think we can and can't do and how Nick is proving people all sorts of wrong.